Okay, so we're going to do our test training. As you all know, and you're very well versed on, training does not take the place of the manual or the contents that you're given. We're going to do the overview, which you've all seen this because you've been part of summer acceleration. We are going to have some testing on the 20th, but it's 6 kids that need 4 tests. So Monica and I are going to hold that down if they show up. So we do that, and then that's the way the testing schedule is kind of going. If you have anything but Algebra 1, you can test Monday. Algebra 1 follows your US Tuesday, and then English 2 follows your US. And as y'all know, you've seen the schedule. Kids are already slated. I know I've already started having conversations with Lisa Hope. We've been sending things around, all of that. So I want you to try to look over your room. I am going to make sure they're all set up properly because everybody can't see tessellations and configurations in a room that optimizes where you can walk around. So I'm just going to help you all out with that. But I'm not going to start doing that till Monday, and I'm not going to do it in rooms where we're holding class, obviously. So by next Thursday, when Monica and I are testing, that's when I'll start doing some of the rooms that we've had class in. Because a lot of you are also using groups. Now, as you have looked at some of the rosters or some of those room breakdowns, it does show up to maybe 27 slated for the roster on that day, but in the summer they don't all show up. And so I'm not going to slate it for 30 and risk that that's going to be the room that we have 100% attendance in. So, but if a kid shows up, we will test them. And just so y'all know what's going on with SPED, we've tried to talk about it. It's not in here in writing or anything, but just kind of we're on the same page because there was another development today. So we've been having conversations, got district approval to be able to have the conversations, Tasha went through and took the conversion chart and did the breakdown. And if they are close, we're recommending they test again. If not, then we're allowing the parents to know, and it comes as a cooperative decision that they don't have to continue testing. If they want to, they can, so they don't have to. Well, then today something came out and said, please don't make decisions basically saying all kids are exempt, they need time to recover and remediate and all this stuff. So we're still trying to iron out what that means because Mr. Johnson and I talked about it, and I said, well, from what I understand, the conversations we're having are based on looking at data and allowing them that opportunity. But we invited everyone to acceleration, and y'all know the attendance has been here, you know, your call through. So just the full slate of that, what will likely end up happening is I'll send out correspondence in Skyward that says your student receives accommodations through SPED. If you would like to have them retest this summer, please let me know, and I will tell you what day and what room they need. I'm not going to go back in and roster all the students because a lot of them are going to opt to not, or they wouldn't show up this summer. And then we would have way too many rooms where y'all have 5 people show up and you're going, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And I'd have to go find some more people, which I can do all that, but that's kind of where we are. So just make sure on y'all's standpoint, if it can help or hinder on any of the STAR tests, tag a friend, let's find some paper, cover the stuff up, because we don't really want to take things down in other people's rooms that don't belong to us. Communicate with your kids. I will have Chromebooks for testing. I'm going to tell the students to bring their own, just like we always do, but we're not turning kids away for testing. If they're on a roster, or if they need a test, we're slapping you with a Chromebook and letting you go. We have 120 of them, so if we run out, then that last person, they're out of luck. So, okay, scratch paper. Make sure you provide it when it says to on the checklist for everyone. And just like we had to reiterate so many times, if it goes out in the bucket, it comes back in the bucket, and then we'll figure that out. Supplemental aid only exists for Algebra 1 and biology, and we have very few students that are still retesting that have that as an accommodation. I don't even think I have 5 that I've written on for algebra, and I don't recall seeing any retesters for biology that have it. So just be aware of it. If it says that, that's what it is. We're going to say a minimum hour and a half time to test. Now, when you get on the checklist, it'll say, we're not going to accept your testing materials until 11. that gives you a cushion to go in, make sure all your times are there, make sure all your stuff's in line, make sure you sign stuff, so that when you come down here, we're not rushing, we're getting through. We'll sign you out when you're done, unless we have some other testing duty that somebody can do, but most of the time. So I'm thinking you should get at minimum about 3 hours. If you're testing on Tuesday, it will likely not be the full 3, but it could be. I mean, it just kind of depends on how it goes, you know. Buses are going to run the same route, so your check-in time, we need things checked out by 8:30. If you show up 8:25, 8:20, that's fine. It doesn't matter. If you show up at 8:30, there's really not that many rooms. It's going to be okay. Y'all can all be in here signing out at the same time. It's not that big of a deal. So just kind of get that in your head. That thing that says a grab-and-go breakfast will be available. We received some correspondence today that we're not real sure, but we will always have snacks for kids. So, and we'll try to take care of y'all as best we can. There won't be an option of eating lunch, and they must leave the building when they're finished. In fact, there is an exit pass that you'll have time to write their name when they're testing. You'll just write their name on it. That shows everybody they're done testing. They need to be out of this building. The last thing I saw about bus routes, though, I look for someone to revise that next week. I think the morning thing will be fine, but they're still saying that their last bus is going to pick up at 2. That's a long time for kids to sit around. I don't know if that's going to stay the same. If it is, I think people will find rides. I'm just saying. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Attendance is the exact same we've been doing, and y'all have already seen it's got a column on there. If you've looked up on the summer needs at all, the column's already there. You already have editing rights for those columns. That's how we're going to do it. We're still going to, it's going to be close to 10, but I would say about 9:30, start trying to get things in order and make sure they're there so they're 10 assists, because we have very few assists. We're trying to take in consideration our populations and just manage our people real well. So that's kind of a no-brainer for y'all. Okay. Oh wait, I need to go back up here because this is on the training verification form. It's the 3 most important things: be flexible, read and follow the checklist, and actively participate in effective communication, whether that's with kids or each other. So those things are on there. I promise y'all. I'll help you out, but it's fine. Okay, communication is always the key. So if something happens, an emergency comes, I need you to text me. If your kid's sick, if there's a horrible thing that happened, I don't really, it's none of my business. I understand that, but I've got to manage here, and we want you to be okay, and your family always comes first, period. But if I have to scramble, I just have to know that I have to scramble would be good. Even if you're running late, unforeseeable, we can't help traffic on 80. It's awful. Y'all are coming that way, 635, just as bad. So just do your best to do what you can. Keep these things in mind. The link to duties has been shared. Changes can be made. I try to let y'all know if a change is made. Not planning on making any changes, but there could, like yesterday, somebody told me they were sick and had a doctor's appointment, and I switched some things up, and then I ended up having to switch them back because they changed it again. But I'm like, just be flexible. Everybody needs to fulfill their role until their materials are returned to 109, and that's, you may have additional duties that day, but you'll be cleared to leave by me or Ms. Clifton, and we'll keep the sign-in sheet in here on those testing days so that you don't have to go find someplace else after you get here. Testing students have to be escorted. We talked about that. And the exit pass, we talked about that. Leave things better than you found them. We're entrusted with these spaces. They may or may not belong to us, and they really don't belong to, like this. I just happen to house in this office, but you know, I don't own it. So just always have to do our due diligence to do this. Okay. This does not change. Online supports content and language, text to speech. I think it says spell check. I don't know. It had like several different versions of that. It's just a way they can check their spelling. But they only get it if it says it on the accommodations page, and it will already be enabled. You don't have anything you have to do. But if a kid has headphones and it's not, if it's not working or it's not showing an option, I got to know within like the first question, because it won't always enable. And we can't just read it to them. That doesn't exist anymore. Testing regularity, you gotta let me know. You did something, you gotta let me know. We gotta figure something out and know whether we can do it or not. Your training confirmation form, we're trying to get them in by 4 tomorrow. I'll come back to this screen when we're done so that y'all have the QR code and y'all can submit for you and link. And then just reminders and information for review. These are the pages. They've been outlined in every training, but if you need a redirect on your manual, I did send you this slideshow yesterday. I'm going to send it in another email today, just so you have reference to go back to. The checklist, this link takes you to this fun, fabulous summer checklist. It's the exact same as what we've used in the year, except for there's no time or anything to do with lunch in this checklist. Okay, so let's see what I'm doing. All right, do you have any questions? I told you I was going to look at because I can't. All right, if you don't have any questions, we are going to end this, and I'll go back to the screen where y'all can use the QR code.